The Trump triumph. That's the focus of tonight's angle. All right, if you're like me, these past 9 years have been a total blur. Because from the day that Donald Trump came down that golden escalator back in 2015, right up until yesterday afternoon, the elites counted him out.
This is not an actual campaign.
Right. This is a high school play about a campaign.
This is a bad high school. This is like a bad set of props that no one's going to look too closely at.
The Russians offered help. The campaign accepted help. That is pretty damning, whether it is proof beyond a reasonable doubt of conspiracy or not.
Trump has faced setbacks in court, dismal polls. It's been an unmitigated disaster.
I think he's more unhinged, more unstable. I think you see that all the time.
But, you know, they weren't content to beat Donald Trump in a fair election. They needed their insurance policies with corrupt prosecutions. And in this maniacal mission, they abused our government institutions. They destroyed the credibility of the FBI, the DOJ, state DA offices, the House of Representatives, even the NIH. How venal and how selfish they all were. But last night's stunning victory, it wasn't just a personal triumph for President Trump and his family, who've all gone through hell, by the way. It was a complete and a total political vindication of his first-term record and of his current agenda. So it turns out that you can't allow a migrant invasion, you can't drive up inflation, food and gas prices, and blow $200 billion in Ukraine and expect to win the presidency. Democrat strategists knew that both Kamala's record and her personality, really, they weren't very popular. And she was pretty untalented on the trail, which is why they rarely put her out there to defend her record. Now, last night, I heard a lot of people still talking about Trump's rhetoric. Rhetoric's a problem, completely ignoring the fact that Democrats spent weeks calling him Hitler and a fascist. So that was a colossal mistake. It only revealed the desperation and vacuousness of the Democrats and Kamala Harris. Now, no one believed that Trump was a Hitler or fascist. No one believed the smears, not even the Democrats who made them. So in the end, this campaign wasn't about personality. It wasn't about race. It wasn't about abortion. Instead, Trump and his absolutely brilliant team made this election about the issues that mattered most to regular Americans, the economy and the border, with just the right emphasis on trans radicalism and endless wars. So the coalition of the forgotten men and women who turned out for Trump in 2016, it grew to include young voters and minorities. And the numbers and the reasons why were breathtaking.
I was texting with a elected in Pennsylvania, and he said he was talking to a prison guard about why he's voting for Trump. And he said, it's clear as day to me, Democrats make me feel bad about who I am.
Now, more Americans, groups that Republicans never bothered to court, said no to the status quo of decline and despair. And they said yes to the Trump agenda of peace and prosperity. That sounded great to them. And they saw Trump stand and fight for them. And so last night in an early voting, they turned out in record numbers to stand for him.
I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 45th president. And every citizen, I will fight for you, for your family, and your future. Every single day, I will be fighting for you, and with every breath in my body, I will not rest until we have delivered the strong, safe, and prosperous America that our children deserve and that you deserve. This will truly be the golden age of America.
So at its core, Trump's message, it has always been optimistic. He loves this country. He loves the blue cities, the red cities, rural and small town America, all of it. And he gets angry for the same reasons we all get angry when we see Americans who are shortchanged by incompetent leadership and by politicians who sell out the interests of the people to the highest bidder or just a radical activist. So with a committed team of patriots, and all of you, he pledges to return America to Americans.
I will govern by a simple motto: promises made, promises kept. We're going to keep our promises. Nothing will stop me from keeping my word to you, the people. We will make America safe, strong, prosperous, powerful, and free again.
Trump's message last night was just powerful. And it was powerful because it was straightforward. And yes, even for Trump, it was humble. So Democrats claim, and they have claimed, oh, they want unity. Oh, we all need to be unified and nice to each other. So they should have appreciated Trump's victory speech.
It's time to put the divisions of the past 4 years behind us. It's time to unite. The success is going to bring us together, and we are going to start by all putting America first. We have to put our country first for at least a period of time. We have to fix it. Because together we can truly make America great again for all Americans.
For all of America, even if you didn't vote for him. And who doesn't want America to be great again? I never understood the opposition to that idea. The left wants us to downsize our dreams. And the globalists want us to do as we're told, just shut up. So Harris was simply a figurehead of failure, installed by party bigwigs who called all the shots. She reads what they tell her to read. And a few hours ago, Kamala Harris read a concession speech that was really a resistance speech and embarrassed herself once again.
A fundamental principle of American democracy is that when we lose an election, we accept the results. That principle, as much as any other, distinguishes democracy from monarchy or tyranny. And anyone who seeks the public trust must honor it. At the same time, in our nation, we owe loyalty not to a president or a party, but to the Constitution of the United States.
Wait a second. Is Kamala Harris actually defending the Constitution? That's a first. Of course, this coming from a VP whose administration's policies have been repeatedly struck down by the Supreme Court. So far, Democrats, I don't think they really are getting why they lost. Maybe it takes some time to process. They lost because the country was worse off than it was 4 years ago in every respect. And voters saw through the phony joy pitch. That was easy to do. So today, Kamala didn't talk about fascism, but she did drop another F-bomb.
While I concede this election, I do not concede the fight that fueled this campaign. That is a fight I will never give up. We will continue to wage this fight in the voting booth, in the courts, and in the public square. Sometimes the fight takes a while. That doesn't mean we won't win. That doesn't mean we won't win.
Yeah, well, that won't work. 21 years ago, can't believe I'm saying that, 21 years ago, I wrote a book about the elites in politics and Hollywood called Shut Up and Sing. The introduction read like this. They think we're stupid. They think our patriotism is stupid. They think our church-going is stupid. They think having more than 2 children is stupid. They've outgrown America. They're ashamed of her and us. We embarrass them. Now, since I wrote those words, the elites have only grown nastier, meaner, and more bitter. But Trump, he never stopped speaking for the deplorables, the irredeemables, and for Americans who've been ripped off, stepped on, and disrespected for decades by an out-of-touch, condescending coterie of elites. Well, last night, those elites and their media hacks and the legal assassins and the celebrity set, the wokesters, all had their comeuppance. So tonight I say, bravo, Donald Trump. No one else could have pulled this off.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.